I stood frozen in the upstairs hallway of my sister's house, my hand gripping the decorative key so tightly it left marks on my palm. Through the crack in the bathroom door, I could see them: Trevor, my sister's husband, and Vanessa, my sister's best friend, together in the large soaking tub. The one Nicole had been so excited about when they bought this house. The vintage clawfoot tub she'd spent weeks restoring. Champagne glasses sat on the edge, an open bottle on the floor. Steam filled the room. Vanessa's head was thrown back, laughing at something Trevor said. That distinctive laugh I'd heard 1,000 times at family dinners, girls' nights, holiday parties. Trevor's hand rested on her bare shoulder. His fingers traced down her arm slowly, intimately. There was no mistaking what I was seeing. My stomach lurched. For a second, I actually thought I might throw up right there in the hallway. This couldn't be real. This couldn't be happening. I'd arrived early to set up Nicole's surprise birthday party. Decorations were still in my car. Balloons, banners, everything to celebrate my sister's 31st birthday. The party started in 3 hours. Nicole was supposed to arrive home from her work trip in 2.5 hours. Our mother was on her way with the cake, and Nicole's husband was in the bathtub with Nicole's best friend, in Nicole's house, in Nicole's bathroom, hours before Nicole's party. The cruelty of it made my vision blur. I backed away from the door silently, my heart hammering so hard I could feel it in my throat. My hands shook, my whole body shook. Inside the bathroom, Vanessa said something I couldn't hear. Trevor laughed. The sound made my skin crawl. They had no idea I was here, no idea anyone knew. I should burst in, should scream, should grab my phone and take pictures. But my body had other ideas. I backed down the hallway, my mind racing frantically. Then I saw it. The old skeleton key hanging on a small decorative hook next to the bathroom door. Nicole had shown it to me months ago when I'd helped her paint the hallway. "Look at this," she'd said, laughing. "You can lock the bathroom from the outside. Isn't that the weirdest thing? These old houses and their quirky features." We'd joked about it. About locking someone in as a prank. Now I stared at that key like it was a weapon. My hand reached out, grabbed the ornate brass door handle. Very slowly, I pulled the door closed. The hinges were well oiled, silent. Inside, the voices continued. Water splashed. Vanessa laughed again. I picked up the skeleton key with trembling fingers, slid it into the old lock, turned it slowly. The mechanism engaged with the softest click. I held my breath, waiting. But inside, nothing changed. Trevor said something. Vanessa giggled. They hadn't heard. I tested the handle carefully. Locked solid. They were trapped. I backed away, then turned and walked quickly down the stairs. My legs felt like jelly. Out to my car. I sat in the driver's seat, staring at the house. My sister's house, where her husband and her best friend were locked in the bathroom together. My phone was in my hand. Nicole's contact stared back at me from the screen. And below it, another name. Phillip. Vanessa's husband. I had to tell them. Both of them. But how do you make a call like that? How do you destroy someone's world over the phone? My finger hovered over Nicole's name. I took a deep breath and pressed call. The ringing seemed to last forever. Then Nicole's voice, bright and busy. "Cass. Hey, I'm literally about to board my flight. What's up?" I closed my eyes. Opened them. "I need you to come home. Right now." 3 weeks earlier, I sat at my mother's kitchen table with a notepad and a cup of coffee, planning Nicole's surprise party. Mum was excited, talking fast about decorations and guest lists and menu options. "We should do it at Nicole's house," she said. "That beautiful place with all that space. She'd love waking up in her own home on her birthday and having everyone there. She'll be coming back from her work trip that afternoon," I said, checking my phone calendar. "If we time it right, we can have everything set up before she arrives." "Perfect. You're closest to her neighborhood. Can you get there early to decorate?" "Of course." Mum smiled. That proud smile she got when talking about Nicole. She works so hard. This campaign she's been managing has her traveling constantly, She deserves something special. She does. And Trevor is so supportive, letting her focus on her career like that. Not every husband would be so understanding. Mom sighed happily. And she has Vanessa too. Such a good friend. I made a sound. Not quite agreement. Not quite disagreement. Mom's eyes sharpened. What was that? What was what? That sound. You don't like Vanessa. I didn't say that. You didn't have to. Cassidy, you've never liked her. Why? I picked at the edge of my notepad. I don't know. She just seems fake. Like everything is for show. For her Instagram. She's a social media influencer. That's her job. It's not just that. She's so performative about everything, about friendship and loyalty and authenticity. It feels calculated. Mum laughed. You're just protective of Nicole. You always have been. Maybe that was true. But it wasn't the whole truth. At the barbecue 2 months ago, I said slowly, I saw Trevor and Vanessa talking in the backyard. They were standing really close. And when they saw me watching, they both jumped apart and changed the subject really fast. Mum waved a hand dismissively. They probably just didn't want to be interrupted. They've known each other for years through Nicole. Of course they're comfortable together. I wanted to believe that. I tried to believe that. But I couldn't shake the image of how quickly they'd separated, the guilty look on both their faces. The following week, I met Nicole for lunch at a cafe near her office. She looked exhausted. Dark circles under her eyes. Hair pulled back in a messy bun. You okay? I asked as she sat down. Just tired. This campaign is killing me. I've been traveling every week, working 14-hour days. She rubbed her eyes. I feel like I haven't seen my own house in months. How's Trevor handling it? He's been great. Really understanding. Says he knows this is important for my career, and he's proud of me. Something in her voice made me look closer. Is everything okay between you two? Yeah, of course. Why? I don't know. You just seem, I don't know, stressed. Nicole picked at her salad. We're like ships passing in the night lately. He's busy with his real estate stuff. I'm traveling constantly. But that's marriage, right? Sometimes you go through busy seasons. I nodded. But unease settled in my stomach. Actually, Nicole continued, Vanessa has been helping him stage some of his properties. She's got such a good eye for design. It's sweet that they get along so well. My fork stopped halfway to my mouth. Vanessa's been helping Trevor? Yeah, for the past few months. She's over at the house a lot when I'm traveling, helping him get listings ready. I'm glad my husband and best friend are friends too. You know, makes life easier. I couldn't speak. Couldn't swallow the food in my mouth. Vanessa at Nicole's house. With Trevor. While Nicole traveled. Cass, you okay? You look weird. I forced a smile. Yeah. Sorry. Just thought of something I forgot to do at work. We finished lunch. I hugged Nicole goodbye. Watched her walk back to her office looking tired and stressed and completely unaware. 4 days before the party, I stopped by Nicole's house unannounced. I had decorations in my car that I wanted to drop off early. Nicole was in Seattle for work. I let myself in with my spare key, heading to the garage. That's when I heard voices inside the house. I froze, my hand on the mudroom door. Trevor's voice. Then Vanessa's distinctive laugh. My heart started pounding. Through the door, I heard snippets of conversation. Have to be more careful. When does she get back? Not until Thursday, we're fine. Can't keep doing this in her house, Trevor. Where else? Your place is too risky with Phillip. I backed away slowly, quietly set the decorations down. Left through the garage door without making a sound. In my car, I sat trembling, staring at Trevor's BMW and Vanessa's white Range Rover parked side by side in the driveway. They were alone in Nicole's house, talking about being careful, about when Nicole would return, about risk. I tried to convince myself there was an innocent explanation, but I couldn't think of one. I spent the next 2 days in agony, replaying what I'd heard over and over in my mind. Maybe they were planning a surprise for Nicole. Maybe being careful meant keeping a secret about the party. Maybe I was jumping to conclusions. But I couldn't convince myself. Not really. I considered telling Nicole, but what would I say? I heard your husband and best friend talking about being careful when you're out of town. It sounded paranoid, jealous, even. Nicole would ask what exactly they said. I'd have to admit I didn't hear the full conversation, that I had no actual proof of anything. She'd think I was making trouble, so I decided to talk to Trevor instead. The day before the party, I texted him, "Hey, can we meet for coffee? Want to ask you something about Nicole's gift." He responded quickly, "Sure, how about 2 p.m. at the Starbucks on Main?" I spent the whole morning rehearsing what I'd say, how I'd confront him, how I'd make it clear I was watching. But when I got to Starbucks and saw Trevor walking in with that easy smile, all my courage evaporated. "Cassidy, good to see you." He hugged me, ordered us both coffee, asked about my teaching job, complimented my haircut. He was so normal, so friendly, so completely at ease. I chickened out. We talked about Nicole's party, about what gift I was getting her, about the weather. Nothing. I said nothing about what I'd heard. "Well, I should get back to work," Trevor said after 20 minutes, standing up. "Got a property showing at 3. "Yeah, me too." He grabbed his phone from the table and headed to the bathroom. His phone sat there, screen dark. Then it buzzed. I shouldn't have looked. I knew I shouldn't. But I did. The preview lit up the screen. "Missing you already. Can't wait for tomorrow when she's traveling again." My blood turned to ice. V with a heart emoji. "Missing you already. Can't wait for tomorrow." Tomorrow. When Nicole would be traveling, Trevor came back from the bathroom. I was already standing, gathering my things with shaking hands. "You okay? You look pale." "Fine. Just remembered something. I have to go." I practically ran out of there. That evening, I sat in my apartment staring at my phone. I should call Nicole. I should tell her what I saw. But that text could mean anything, right? Maybe Vanessa sent heart emojis to everyone. Maybe "missing you" was just friendly. Except it wasn't. I knew it wasn't. On impulse, I called Phillip, Vanessa's husband. I barely knew him. He was quiet at social gatherings, always seemed a bit uncomfortable in the loud, social friend group Nicole and Vanessa ran with. "Hello." His voice was professional, formal. "Hi, Phillip. It's Cassidy, Nicole's sister." "Oh, hello, is everything all right?" "Yeah, I was coordinating some things for Nicole's party tomorrow and wanted to make sure you could still make it." "Yes, I'll be there. 6 o'clock, correct?" "Right. And Vanessa too." A pause. "I assume so. She's been busy lately. Lots of property consultations with Trevor." Something in his tone made my breath catch. "Property consultations? That's what she calls them. She's gone quite a bit." Another pause. "Is there something specific you needed, Cassidy?" I almost told him. Almost blurted out everything. "No. Just confirming. See you tomorrow." After I hung up, I sat there for a long time. Phillip knew something was wrong. I could hear it in his voice. That careful neutrality. That resigned tone. He suspected too. The morning of the party, I woke up with my stomach in knots. I was supposed to arrive at Nicole's at 3 to decorate. The party started at 6. Nicole's flight landed at 5:15. Everything was planned perfectly. I packed decorations into my car mechanically, my mind elsewhere. At 2:30, I made a decision. I'd go early. An hour early. Just to check. Just to make sure everything was fine. I pulled into Nicole's driveway at 2:50. Trevor's BMW was there. So was Vanessa's white Range Rover. Nicole was supposed to be in Seattle until 5:15. Why were both of them here? I sat in my car, gripping the steering wheel, my heart pounding. Every innocent explanation I tried to think of felt hollow. Finally, I got out, walked to the front door, used my spare key. The house was quiet. No one downstairs. But I could hear water running, upstairs, and voices, faint laughter. My legs carried me up the stairs before my brain could stop them. The master bedroom door was open, empty, but the bathroom door was cracked. Light spilled out. Steam. The sound of water. And Vanessa's laugh. I stepped closer, looked through the gap, and saw them. I couldn't move, couldn't breathe, couldn't look away. Trevor and Vanessa in the bathtub together. The vintage tub Nicole had lovingly restored. The one she'd spent weekends sanding and painting. Champagne bottle on the tile floor. 2 glasses balanced on the tub's edge. Vanessa's wet hair plastered to her shoulders. Trevor's hand trailing down her arm. They were talking softly, laughing, completely comfortable, like they'd done this 100 times before, because they probably had. My vision blurred. The hallway tilted. This was real. This was actually happening. Not suspicions. Not paranoia. Not misunderstandings. My sister's husband and my sister's best friend. Together. In my sister's house. In my sister's bathtub. Hours before my sister's surprise birthday party. The cruelty of it hit me like a physical blow. I actually put my hand on the wall to steady myself. I should burst in. Should scream. Should grab my phone and document everything. But my body backed away instead, moving on autopilot. I backed down the hallway, my hand over my mouth to keep any sound from escaping. My mind raced frantically. Nicole would be home in hours. Guests would arrive. Mum was bringing the cake. And these two were here, together, like they had all the time in the world. Like they owned this house. This life. This marriage. Then I saw it. The skeleton key hanging on its decorative hook beside the bathroom door. Nicole's voice echoed in my memory. You can lock it from the outside. These old houses are so weird. My hand reached for the door handle before I'd consciously decided to move. Very slowly, very carefully, I pulled the bathroom door closed. Inside, Vanessa said something. Trevor laughed. They hadn't noticed. The door clicked shut softly. I picked up the key. It was cold and heavy in my shaking hand. Slid it into the old lock, turned it. The mechanism was smooth. Well maintained. Nearly silent. The lock engaged with the quietest click. I held my breath. Inside, water splashed. Vanessa giggled about something. They still didn't know. I tested the handle. Locked solid. They were trapped in there. For a moment, I just stood there, staring at the locked door, my heart hammering. What had I just done? Then clarity hit me like cold water. I'd bought time. That's what I'd done. Time to tell Nicole. Time to make sure she saw this with her own eyes. Time to make sure they couldn't run, couldn't hide, couldn't explain it away. I turned and walked quickly down the stairs, through the living room, out to my car, sat in the driver's seat, breathing hard. My phone was in my hand. Nicole's contact information stared back at me. Below it, another name. Phillip. Vanessa's husband deserved to know too. But first, Nicole. My finger trembled as I pressed her name. The phone rang once. Twice. Cass. Hey, I'm literally about to board my flight. What's up? Her voice was so normal, so unsuspecting. I closed my eyes. Forced words out. I need you to come home. Right now. What? I am coming home. My flight lands at 5:15. Now Nicole. Cancel the meeting. Get the earliest flight. I need you to trust me. Silence. Then her voice changed, became alert. Is someone hurt? Is Mum okay? Mum's fine. Everyone's physically fine. But Nicole, please, I can't explain over the phone. Just please come home as soon as you possibly can. You're scaring me. I know. I'm sorry. But please, there's something you need to see. And it can't wait. Another pause. Longer this time. This is about Trevor, isn't it? The question stunned me. Why would you? I've had a feeling. Her voice cracked. For a while now. I pushed it down. Told myself I was being paranoid because of work stress. But I've had a feeling. Tears burned my eyes. She'd known. Some part of her had known. Is he having an affair? I couldn't say it. Couldn't be the one to destroy her over the phone. Please just come home. I'll explain everything when you get here. Tell me right now, Cassidy. Is my husband cheating on me? Nicole, tell me. The scream made me pull the phone from my ear. When I brought it back, I could hear her crying. He's in the house right now. With someone. I locked them in the upstairs bathroom. The line went silent, except for her ragged breathing. Then, in a whisper, who? I closed my eyes. Said the name that would destroy 10 years of friendship. Vanessa. The sound Nicole made wasn't human. A scream and a sob, combined. I started crying too. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. That's not, they wouldn't. Her voice broke. Vanessa is my best friend. She was in my wedding. I know. She's been my friend for 10 years. I know, honey. How sure are you? Maybe you misunderstood. I saw them, Nicole. In the bathtub. Together. There's no misunderstanding. She made that terrible sound again. Then her voice came back, hard and cold. I'm getting the next flight. I'll be there in 3 hours. Don't let them out. Don't let them leave. Promise me. I promise. And Cass. Call Phillip. Vanessa's husband deserves to know too. The line went dead. I sat there, tears streaming down my face, staring at my phone. Then I scrolled to Philip's number and made the second call. Philip answered on the third ring, his voice professional and distant. Philip speaking. Philip. It's Cassidy. Nicole's sister. I need you to come to Nicole's house right now. A pause. I'm at work. Is this about the party? I was planning to arrive at 6. Your wife is here, with Trevor. You need to come now. The silence on the other end stretched so long, I thought the call had dropped. Philip. Explain. His voice was completely flat. So I told him. Everything. What I'd seen. The bathtub. The champagne. How I'd locked them in. When I finished, the silence returned. Philip. Are you still there? I'm on my way. 20 minutes. His voice was emotionless. Controlled. Which somehow felt more dangerous than anger. The call ended. I looked at my phone. Nicole would be here in about 3 hours. Philip in 20 minutes. And upstairs, locked in that bathroom, Trevor and Vanessa had no idea their world was about to explode. I walked back into the house, sat on the living room couch where I had a clear view of the staircase, and waited. The house was so quiet I could hear my own heartbeat. Upstairs, faint sounds drifted down. Water draining. Muffled voices. My hands wouldn't stop shaking. 12 minutes after I'd called him, I heard a car pull into the driveway fast. Tires crunching on gravel. Philip. I opened the front door before he could knock. He stood there in his work clothes, dress shirt, tie loosened, jacket over his arm. His face showed nothing, completely blank, but his eyes were dark, cold. Where? Was all he said. Upstairs. Master bathroom. It's locked. He walked past me without another word, took the stairs 2 at a time. I followed, my heart in my throat. Philip stopped outside the bathroom door. Stood there, perfectly still, listening. Inside, I could hear Vanessa's voice, that flirtatious tone I'd always hated, saying something I couldn't make out. Then Trevor's low laugh. Philip stared at the door, at the key still in the lock. Then he looked at me. When did you lock it? About 45 minutes ago. He nodded once. Slow and deliberate. Then he reached out and removed the key from the lock, turned it. The lock disengaged with a soft click, but he didn't open the door. Not yet. His hand rested on the handle. Step back, he said quietly. I backed up several feet down the hallway. Philip stood there another moment. Then he opened the door. The scene inside would have been almost funny if it wasn't so horrible. Vanessa and Trevor were both standing in the tub, wrapped in towels, clearly in the process of getting out. Water dripped everywhere. Their clothes were in a pile on the floor. They both froze when the door opened. Vanessa saw Philip first. Every bit of colour drained from her face. Philip, what are you? This isn't. Get dressed. Philip's voice was terrifyingly quiet. Both of you. You have 5 minutes. Then you're going to come downstairs and sit in the living room. Trevor found his voice. His face flushed. Look, man. This isn't what it looks like. 4 minutes and 30 seconds. Trevor's mouth snapped shut. Philip closed the door, Didn't lock it this time. Just closed it. Then he turned and walked past me down the stairs. I followed him to the living room. He sat in the armchair facing the staircase, folded his hands in his lap, and waited. I sat back on the couch, my whole body trembling. The next 4 minutes felt like 4 hours. Then I heard footsteps upstairs, whispered voices arguing. Vanessa appeared first, coming down the stairs in her yoga clothes, hair still wet, mascara smudged under her eyes. She stopped at the bottom of the stairs when she saw Phillip sitting there. Baby, please, let me explain. Sit. He pointed to the couch across from him. She sat. Trevor came down next, dressed in jeans and a t-shirt, his hair wet and messy. He looked at me with something close to anger. You locked us in? Yes. That's insane. You can't just… Sit down, Trevor, Phillip said. Trevor sat next to Vanessa. Not touching, but close enough that the intimacy between them was obvious. The silence in that room was suffocating. Phillip looked at his wife. Really looked at her. How long? Vanessa's eyes filled with tears. Phil, I love you. This was a mistake. How long? 6 months, Trevor answered when Vanessa didn't. 6 months. Half a year of lies. I felt sick. Phillip showed no reaction at all. In Nicole's house? A few times, Trevor said. When she was traveling, my hands clenched into fists. Does Nicole know? Phillip asked, looking at me. She's on her way. She'll be here in about 2.5 hours. Trevor's face went white. You called Nicole? Of course I called Nicole. What did you think I was going to do? We could have talked about this privately. There's nothing private about this. You're in her house. In her bathtub, with her best friend. Vanessa started crying harder. This is going to ruin everything. The front door crashed open. Everyone jumped. Nicole stood there, suitcase abandoned on the porch, hair wild, face streaked with tears and rage. She must have caught an earlier flight. Must have driven like a maniac from the airport. She looked at Vanessa. At Trevor. At their wet hair. Their guilty faces. And screamed. A raw, anguished sound that seemed to come from somewhere deep and broken inside her. The sound of a heart shattering. Nicole stood in her own doorway, chest heaving, mascara streaking down her face. The scream that had torn out of her still seemed to echo in the silence that followed. Vanessa jumped to her feet, hands outstretched. Nick, please, let me explain. Don't! Nicole's voice cracked like a whip. Don't you dare speak to me. It just happened. We didn't mean for. You didn't mean to. Nicole's laugh was horrible. Wild. You didn't mean to have an affair with my husband for 6 months. You didn't mean to sleep with him in my house. In my bathtub. Vanessa sobbed. I know. I'm so sorry. I'm so… You were my maid of honor, Vanessa. Nicole's voice broke. You helped me pick out my wedding dress. You held my hand while I cried happy tears. You gave a speech about how Trevor and I were soulmates. I know. You posted about female friendship last week. Nicole pulled out her phone with shaking hands, scrolled frantically. Look, right here. Real friends are the family we choose. Loyalty is everything. Blessed to have my soul sister. I commented on this. I called you my person. Nicole looked up, tears streaming. And the whole time you were screwing my husband. Vanessa collapsed back onto the couch, her face in her hands. Trevor stood. Nicole, please, can we talk privately? Sit down. The ice in Nicole's voice made him freeze. You don't get to ask me for anything. You don't get privacy. You don't get explanations. You sit there, and you listen. Trevor sat. Nicole turned to me. Her face softened slightly. Thank you. For calling me. For not letting them get away with this. I nodded, unable to speak past the lump in my throat. Nicole looked at Phillip, who still sat perfectly still in the armchair. Did you know? I suspected. His voice was quiet. For about 2 months. The late nights. The property consultations. The way she stopped looking at me. He paused. But I didn't want to believe it. He looked at Vanessa with an expression I couldn't read. I gave you everything. A home. Freedom to build your career. My love. All I asked was honesty. Vanessa reached for him. We can fix this. Counseling. Therapy. I'll do anything. Phillip stood. I want a divorce. Vanessa's hand dropped. I'll have papers drawn up this week. You can keep whatever you want from the house. I don't care. I just want you gone. He looked at Trevor with cold contempt. You can have her. She's your problem now. Phillip walked to the door, then stopped, turned back. All those Instagram posts about authenticity and truth, and real love. His voice was soft, dangerous. I hope it was worth it, because your followers are going to love this story. He left. The door closed quietly behind him. Vanessa made a choking sound. Her hands flew to her mouth. Even now, even in this moment, she was thinking about her social media image. Nicole saw it too. Her face hardened. Get out of my house. Nicole, please. Our friendship. We don't have a friendship. Nicole's voice rose. We never did. Because friends don't do this. Friends don't sleep with your husband. They don't lie to your face for months. They don't. Her voice broke completely. She doubled over, sobbing. Vanessa looked at Trevor desperately. Like he might defend her, might say something to make this better. Trevor stared at the floor. Get out, Nicole said again, her voice raw. Get out before I call the police and have you arrested for trespassing. Vanessa grabbed her purse and ran. Still crying. Still ruined. The door slammed behind her. Now it was just Nicole and Trevor. And me, frozen on the couch, watching my sister's life fall apart. Nicole straightened, wiped her face, looked at her husband. I worked 60-hour weeks on that campaign. Traveled every week, missed sleep, missed meals, all to build our future, our life together. Trevor's face crumpled. I felt neglected. You were never home. So you cheated? Nicole's voice was ice. That's your excuse? I was working too hard, so you found comfort in my best friend. It wasn't planned. Vanessa was helping me stage properties. We spent time together. Things just happened. 6 months isn't just happening, Trevor. 6 months is a choice. Every single day for half a year, you woke up and chose to betray me. I'm sorry. Did you ever love me? Nicole's voice cracked. Or was I just convenient? The wife with the good job who traveled a lot and left you free to do whatever you wanted? I do love you. Don't. Nicole held up her hand. Don't insult me by pretending now. She pulled off her wedding ring. The diamond caught the light. Then she threw it at him. It bounced off his chest and clattered to the floor. I want you gone. Tonight. Pack whatever you can carry. Everything else we'll handle through lawyers. Nicole, please, we can work through this. Get out. The scream tore out of her. Get out of my house. Trevor stood, looked at her, looked at me, then walked out without another word. The door closed behind him. Nicole stood there, swaying slightly. Then her legs gave out. She collapsed to the floor, sobbing so hard her whole body shook. I ran to her, dropped to my knees and wrapped my arms around her. She clung to me like a drowning person, making sounds I'd never heard before, animal sounds of pure grief. I held her and cried with her. We stayed like that on the floor of her entryway for what felt like hours. Eventually, I heard another car pull up. Mum burst through the door, carrying a birthday cake, her face full of excitement. She saw us on the floor and the cake slipped from her hands. It hit the ground with a crash. Frosting splattered everywhere. What happened? Mum's voice was small, scared. Nicole couldn't speak, just sobbed harder. I looked at Mum over Nicole's head. Trevor was cheating. With Vanessa. Mum's hand flew to her mouth. Then she was on the floor with us, her arms around both her daughters. The three of us sat there in the ruins of the surprise party, surrounded by smashed birthday cake and broken dreams. We stayed on the floor until Nicole had cried herself empty, until she had nothing left. Mum finally helped her to the couch. I got water, tissues, all the useless things you do when someone's world has ended. Nicole sat there, staring at nothing, her face blank and exhausted. The party. she finally said, her voice hoarse. We'll cancel it, I said immediately. I'll call everyone. No. Mum and I looked at each other. Nicole, honey, you don't have to. No. Nicole's voice got stronger. Don't cancel it. Call everyone. Tell them what happened. Tell them the truth. Are you sure? I asked carefully. I'm sure. Nicole looked at me, and her eyes were hard now, cold. I want everyone to know what they did. Trevor and Vanessa. I want it out in the open. No hiding. No protecting their reputations. Mum squeezed her hand. Whatever you want, sweetheart. So I made the calls. Every single person on the guest list. Hi. This is Cassidy. About Nicole's party tonight, there's been a situation. Nicole's husband was having an affair with her best friend. She found out today. She still wants everyone to come. But it's not a birthday celebration anymore. It's support. If you can make it, please come. If not, she understands. Some people were horrified. Some made excuses and didn't come. But most did. They arrived at 6 o'clock with wine instead of presents. With hugs instead of birthday wishes. Nicole told the story. All of it. Standing in her living room with 20 people gathered around. She showed them the bathtub where I'd found Trevor and Vanessa. She cried. She laughed bitterly. She accepted hugs from people who actually cared. And it helped. I could see it helping. By 8 o'clock, Nicole was sitting on her couch, surrounded by real friends. People who brought food and listened and didn't judge. Someone pulled up Vanessa's Instagram. Her most recent post from that morning was still up. A photo of her in yoga pose, caption reading, "Gratitude for authentic connections, living my truth, blessed beyond measure." Someone showed Nicole. She stared at it for a long moment. Then she started laughing. Really laughing. "Authentic connections," she gasped, between laughs that bordered on hysterical. "Living her truth." Oh my God. One of Nicole's real friends, a woman named Brianna from her book club, took her phone out. "May I?" Nicole nodded. Brianna commented on Vanessa's post. "How authentic was sleeping with your best friend's husband? How's that for living your truth?" Within minutes, other people who knew added comments. The post exploded. Vanessa's follower count started dropping. Fast. Someone checked an hour later. She'd lost 3,000 followers. By the end of the night, she'd deleted the post. Then her entire account went private. Nicole watched it all happen with a grim satisfaction. Her whole life was that account, she said quietly. Her brand, her income, gone. Good, Mum said fiercely. She deserves it. The party wound down around 11. People hugged Nicole, promised to check on her, left their numbers. When everyone was gone, it was just Mum, Nicole, and me again. We sat in the living room, exhausted. "What happens now?" Nicole asked. "Now you rest," Mum said. "Tomorrow we call lawyers. We protect you. We make sure Trevor doesn't get a penny he doesn't deserve. He'll try to claim half of everything." "Let him try," I said. "You have evidence. You have witnesses. You have me willing to testify about what I saw." Nicole looked at me. "You locked them in. You made the calls. You saved me from walking in here blind with a birthday cake, expecting a surprise party." Her voice broke. "You saved me, Cass." I took her hand. That's what sisters do. Over the next weeks, the fallout continued. Nicole filed for divorce. Her lawyer was a barracuda who tore apart Trevor's claims to her assets. Trevor tried to say he deserved half of everything. The lawyer presented evidence of his affair, of him using the marital home for his infidelity. He ended up with almost nothing. Philip's divorce from Vanessa was even faster. He kept the house, the cars, everything. She moved in with her mother, her influencer career in ruins. Someone had leaked the story to a gossip blog. Vanessa's sponsors dropped her. Her yoga studio quietly stopped using her for classes. Trevor moved in with his brother. Tried to reach out to Nicole several times. She blocked his number. 3 months later, I visited Nicole at her house. The house she'd kept. The house she was reclaiming. She'd completely remodeled the master bathroom. New tub, new tile, new everything. No memories, she said when she showed me. Just a fresh start. We sat on her back porch with wine, watching the sunset. How are you really doing? I asked. Better, she smiled. And it reached her eyes this time. Some days are harder than others. But I'm okay. Actually okay. Her phone buzzed. She looked at it and smiled. New boyfriend? I teased. Maybe. Too early to tell. He's a graphic designer. Funny. Kind. Thinks I'm amazing. She paused. And he's never even met Trevor or Vanessa, so there's no history. No complications. I'm happy for you. You know what the worst part was? Nicole said after a moment. Thinking I could trust them. Thinking I was safe. And now I know who I can actually trust. She looked at me. You, Mum. Real friends who proved themselves that night. I raised my glass. To knowing the truth. Nicole clinked hers against it. To sisters who lock doors and make phone calls. We drank. The sun set. And Nicole, for the first time in months, looked truly at peace. The betrayal had nearly destroyed her. But in the end, it had freed her from a marriage built on lies and a friendship that was never real. And that locked bathroom door? That was the moment everything changed. The moment the truth came out. The moment Nicole's real life could finally